With that, I would like to introduce Gus Koerner. He is with the Florida 4-H Youth Development Program in Brevard County, and he's going to tell us about a fun program, I believe, called Creature Feature. And with that, Gus, take it away.
Thank you, Holly, and nice to meet everybody here. Just one correction, it's called Creature Features, as in plural, but that's okay. I started with 4-H a long time ago and left for a while and then came back. So I've known Vanessa, one of your group members, for a long, long time. In 2016, I came back and started working with my 4-H agent and supervisor, Andrea Lazzari. And she said, hey, Gus, one of the things we do is we go into the Brevard after schools and we teach lessons there on environmental science. And she said she got started in entomology and some similar things in the after school. And she says, now that you're here, please take Creature Features over and run with it and develop it into what you would like to see. And so I did. And I came in with a background in wildlife conservation. I actually worked at Space Center for a long time until I got laid off. But one of my loves and passions has always been wildlife conservation and the shooting sports. So shooting sports aren't a good fit for after school, right? And so what else goes with that we can take into the after school program? Well, if as a longtime hunter safety instructor, I brought some of the things that we do teach kids that are very applicable, and that is we teach all about habitat, we teach all about carrying capacity, we teach wildlife identification, and some of the things, and safety and first aid and some of those things. So I thought, what can we do to take to the school something that will help the kids get to know the outdoors better, even if they're in the classroom? What can we do to empower them to get off the sofa and put down their electronic devices and go outside and explore? And so I put together, with Andrea's help, some activities, and I sent everyone an email with the list that I'm reading here, and I'll just go over them. We have about 6, actually 8, maybe 9 lessons that I've developed over the last 5-6 years. And what I try to do is, as the year becomes new, I'll probably drop one lesson that I might be bored with, or maybe the kids have seen a little bit too much of, and I'll pick up a new one. And so I did that this year, and I'll tell you about that in a few minutes. But the lesson names, we have Critter Bingo, which is a wildlife identification lesson. And we have Nuts About Knots, which is a STEAM activity about material science. Name That Fish. Kids learn about fresh, salt, and brackish water fish species and anatomy. We have a really fun lesson called Talkin' Turkey, where the kids learn about the North American wild turkey species. And these are some of the materials that I've got from the National Wild Turkey Foundation. We have a lesson called The Bear Facts, which is an adaptation of the Florida FWC Bear Aware lesson. A new lesson that I'm introducing this year that I'm giving for the first time today, so wish me luck, is called Creatures of Habitat. When it's an adaptation from lessons from Project Wild and Project Learning Tree about habitat, outdoor species, mammals primarily, and carrying capacity. I've always wanted to teach a lesson to teach kids about carrying capacity. And then we always have, at the end of all the lessons, if I give 4, 5, or 6 lessons, we have a quiz bowl. That's a common 4-H thing that we do, where it's actually a sneaky way to do an assessment of what they've learned in the 4 or 5 previous lessons. And like what we do, kind of what my goal is to bring the 4-H club experience to the after school network. So I'll request with my coordinators and the after school coordinators that I get a certain age group of kids and a fixed number. So I don't want 10 kids coming in this time and then a different 10 coming in the next time. I want to get about 8 to 10, maybe 16 children of similar age and grade levels. And then we build a relationship as we would a 4-H club, which will give them a sense of belonging. We start the club meeting every time with the Pledge of Allegiance and the 4-H pledge. They all get similar name badges with their name, with what they want to be called, so that they don't have to forget their names. And so we provide in the after school program a 4-H club experience. And that's what we try to do in community clubs and when we're working with our volunteers as well. And so beyond just a sense of belonging, we want to give them a chance to gain mastery in these topics. So we'll spend as much time as we need. And if you do the lessons over and over, you become better at it, you become easier, you can easily adapt it to different age levels and grade levels and group sizes. And we've been able to carry creature features not just to the Brevard after school program, but also into community clubs, sections of it or parts of it, and also to Brevard Public Schools summer camp series. Excuse me. So that's pretty much a summary of the lesson, Holly. If anybody would like to have some questions, that would be fine.
Great, thanks, Gus. I have a couple of questions just in
Sure.
thinking about how this applies for our network. And that is, how many other 4-H programs around the state are partnering with after school and summer learning to do similar things? Is this happening everywhere? And it's kind of, I'm finding myself kind of giggling, and because Brian and I were just on this training in Alachua County, where a lot of their programs were kind of set up the way that you've described them, that like you bring a club experience or a learning experience into the after school setting. And so I'm just curious, to your knowledge, is that happening all over the state, or are you guys kind of unique?
I kind of live in my own little closed geographic world here in Brevard County, but you know what? One of your group members, Vanessa, who's a regional specialized agent for 4-H in the whole south part of Florida, she would have a better awareness of that. And she also works with other regional specialized agents, so she might be able to answer that question better than I.
Yeah, Holly, I can jump in for a minute. I hope there's not too much background. It's really county specific depending on the resources that they have. And if a county is lucky enough to be supported with program assistance, that usually enables the program to expand into after school as much as possible. And a lot of grant funding that we have will organize programs like that might be specific to a topic. For example, I manage one of our statewide healthy living programs through Walmart Foundation. And so we target after school and in-school programs with healthy living initiatives and try to give them that club experience, like, and usually we're trying to do about 6 hours at least with the kids to get them a medium impact program. But the best thing to do is really see what's going on in counties by connecting with their local extension offices and find out what the 4-H agent has going on. If they don't have the capacity to go out to sites, they can certainly do trainings. And if for some reason they can't do it, then you just call me and I will make it happen for any sites that are interested in at least getting trained as much as possible if we don't have the manpower for it.
Holly, I would add, thank you, Vanessa. In Brevard, we, at least pre-COVID, we've had a fairly robust presence of the 4-H Club. Leanne Barber is an institution here in Brevard. So I am not exactly sure, because we can't fund them, how engaged are specifically in the after school environment, but it has been a very robust presence here in Brevard.
And I'll speak, yes, Leanne is amazing. I know her.
Very cool. And something I was thinking about as, Gus was going through the curriculum, and maybe Vanessa, this might be a question for you. Have we connected with the Mizzen by Mott app in terms of, because the whole idea behind Mizzen by Mott, for those of you who haven't heard me harp on it before, right? It's a dedicated source of curriculum that people can get included, and it includes content and curriculum from all over the nation, which is pretty exciting. And I'm just wondering, and I know we've talked about this before, and Brian, I see you've come off mute, so maybe you have a better idea, but this idea of some really cool content and curriculum coming out of the state of Florida, is things like this included on the Mizzen by Mott app? And if they are, yay, and if not, how might we like help push that?
So Holly, we definitely explored it. I was trying to get National 4-H Council to get on board just because they have all of that curriculum in their warehouse, and to, you know, offer a lesson or two from some of the materials that usually you have to purchase would have been phenomenal. I don't think that's going anywhere. Sometimes things just don't move as quickly as you want to. So I do kind of feel like I would be happy for Florida to just kind of use what I call the back door and just go ahead and start seeing what we have that is able to be used on the app. I remember I had the meeting and we talked about what the procedures were and everything, and it was really simple and straightforward. I just need to revisit it, I guess. And so maybe you shoot me an email, then I can have that conversation again and kind of revisit it and start to get some of our stuff on there. Do you know if other states have their stuff on there yet?
Vanessa,
Like
hey, this
4-H?
is Brian. I do recall when we originally spoke about Mizzen, when they were getting their feet under them and up and running, we connected them to the National 4-H as well as PBS Learning Media. And so I know they got connected, but like many of us in organizations with turnover and change, it stalled out. So I think it would be a great idea for us to revisit that and make sure that those connections are revisited and we can kind of bring that back up. So great point, Holly, and thank you. We can do that. Vanessa, to your point, I believe there is some 4-H stuff, curriculum on Mizzen by Mott, but I am not 100% sure where it's coming from, if it's coming from Nebraska's network and their connection with 4-H or where, but on a national level, I'm not sure that it's there, but it could be piecemealed together. So,
well, and Nebraska would make sense as well as Ohio because they still develop curriculum on a regular basis.
mhm.
And so they're very active in that. Florida 4-H does not really develop their own curriculum statewide, but that's not to say that our agents don't develop amazing things, as you heard Gus and his program. That might not be statewide, but it is a well-developed educational program that has all of the features that would be perfect for the app.
Yeah.
And I'll share from my interactions with Mizzen by Mott that they're absolutely not specific to 4-H, but there absolutely are state branded curriculum, regional branded curriculum, and like very local branded curriculum. So I know our folks from Brevard and Palm Beach are on here, and I don't know in terms of the curriculum that you guys have, but if there's opportunities that you want to push from a local perspective, they're absolutely taking that, and there is an evaluation process. Brian's right on the money when he said that there were some things that stalled out. They then have hired a new CEO to run Mizzen by Mott, and I cannot for the life of me remember the man's name right now, but I'm sure that we can Google it and find it really fast. But he, ever since he's taken it over, there's been a lot more outreach and engagement and new pieces being added. There is a vetting process, so it's not just anybody and everybody come on. They do absolutely do that evaluation of the curriculum, but they include like really big names all the way down to the you might not know about from your backyard type of curriculum. So I think that's a great idea and a great way to just promo Florida. Do we have any other questions for 4-H, for Vanessa and Gus?
I just wanted to comment on the really cool creative ways of naming these this curriculum, Gus. If that's you, it's popping out.
Thank you. It has to appeal not just to the kids, but also those who are choosing you to bring that lesson to the kids. Thank you.
Great. Well, I'll close with my final question that I ask all of our guests, and that is, How do you see a network dedicated to advancing after school across Florida, helping a local program like yours, Gus?
Oh my gosh, it's a matter of just bringing more resources to the table. When I have people that I can go to, such as your network and other networks that are similar, they may not hit every part of my job assignments, but it'll certainly hit a feature of it. For example, I don't do hardly enough in promoting these materials via social media, and maybe you guys could help me with that. And so somebody on your committee may have another forte that could be helpful, and just getting to know your committee, your goals, your personnel is very useful. So I appreciate getting to know you today.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Feel free to hang out with us as we continue down our agenda. We so appreciate you carving out time with us this morning to share a little bit about creature features.
Yeah, there you go. My pleasure. Thanks.